Long ago, in a small forgotten village surrounded by the world will change forever. Lily shivered but clutched the doll, and for the first time, the doll moved on its own raising, its fabric hand and glowing so brightly that the shadow screamed and vanished. The doll had protected her. Her path led to the crystal cavern, the first trial before reaching the mountain. Inside, the walls glowed with blue crystals, lighting her way, but the air was heavy, as if watching her every step. At the center of the cavern was a massive stone door with carvings of the sky. Words glowed across it. To open the path, offer trust, not fear. Lily hesitated. The doll looked up at her with glowing eyes. She remembered her grandmother's words, only the pure of heart. She placed the doll on the stone door. At once, the crystals lit up like stars, and the cavern trembled. The door split open, revealing a staircase spiraling upward toward the mountains, toward the sky gate. But as she climbed, a deep roar shook the ground. A guardian beast, with wings of smoke and eyes of fire, blocked her way. It bellowed, "Child of Earth, why do you seek the sky gate?" Lily's voice shook but remained strong. "I seek not for power. I seek the truth, and I carry the doll, the key chosen by the stars." The beast lowered its head, silent. Then, with a thunderous flap of its wings, it let her pass. At the top of the mountain, clouds swirled like oceans in the sky. There, standing tall, was a sky gate, a colossal door made of light. Floating between the heavens, it pulsed with energy, alive, but it was locked, sealed for centuries. The doll floated from Lily's hands, glowing brighter and brighter. Its fabric melted into golden threads, its eyes turning into stars. For the first time, the doll spoke clearly. "I am not just a doll. I am the guardian of the gate. You were chosen to release me and open the path." Lily's eyes filled with tears. The doll that had been her companion all her life was never just a toy. It was a celestial being. As it rose higher, merging with the light of the gate, the skies rumbled. The gate cracked open slightly, spilling beams of pure silver light across the world below. But just before it opened fully, darkness struck. The shadow figure returned, stronger, vowing to destroy the gate before it could release its power. Lily had to make the final choice: fight the shadow with courage, or lose the sky gate forever. The clouds above twisted into black storms. The sky gate shimmered, halfway open, spilling its silver light. But from the darkness crawled the Shadow Master, tall and shapeless, with glowing red eyes that burned like fire. "You cannot open the sky gate," it thundered. "If the skies awaken, balance will be broken. The world is mine to keep in darkness." Lily stood trembling, but the doll's golden light wrapped around her like armor. She held her ground and shouted, "You are wrong! The world was never meant for shadows alone. The light belongs to everyone." The shadow laughed, a terrible sound that echoed through the mountains. From its form, hundreds of smaller shadow creatures burst forth, slithering across the rocks, clawing toward Lily. The doll rose higher, blazing like a small sun, blasting waves of light that pushed the creatures back. Yet the Shadow Master struck again, sending a shock wave that hurled Lily to the ground. Her knees scraped, blood dripping, but she refused to let go of the map and her hope. She whispered to herself, "Trust, not fear." Slowly, she stood again. The doll's voice rang clearly across the storm. "Lily, I was bound in this form until one pure of heart carried me to the gate. But I cannot finish this alone. You must give me your strength, your will, your courage." Lily placed her hands on the glowing doll. She felt warmth flood her chest, racing through her veins like fire. The doll's stitched fabric transformed into wings of light, and its eyes blazed like stars. It was no longer a doll, it was a celestial guardian, radiant and powerful. Together, they rose against the Shadow Master. The mountain shook as light clashed with darkness. Sparks lit the sky like falling stars. Every strike Lily gave, the doll amplified, turning her courage into beams of power. But the Shadow Master was vast, almost endless. For every wound it suffered, it mended itself with more darkness. The guardian whispered, "There is only one way. The sky gate must be opened with a sacrifice. Only then can the shadows be banished forever." Lily's heart ached. A sacrifice? What does that mean? The guardian looked at her gently. "If I merge with the gate, I will vanish from your world. You will lose me forever." Tears welled in Lily's eyes. The companion she had loved, laughed with, trusted all her life, she would have to let it go. The Shadow Master towered closer, ready to crush them. Lily clenched her fists. She remembered her grandmother's words. Only the pure of heart can open the path. She looked at the guardian, the doll who had been her friend, her protector, her family. She whispered, voice breaking, "If this is the only way, then I will set you free." The guardian smiled, glowing brighter than ever. "You have already opened the gate, Lily, with your courage." With one last embrace, Lily pressed the guardian toward the sky gate. Light swallowed the heavens as the guardian dissolved into beams, fusing with the colossal door of stars. The Shadow Master screamed in fury, thrashing against the light. But it was too late. The sky gate burst open fully, unleashing a flood of celestial brilliance. The darkness shriveled, burned away until nothing remained. The mountains glowed like crystal, the clouds cleared, and the world below bathed in endless silver light. The sky gate had awakened. Silence fell. The storms were gone. The stars above shone brighter than ever. Lily knelt before the glowing gate, her tears falling silently. The doll, her beloved companion, was no more. Only a single golden thread remained, floating down into her hands. She whispered, "Thank you. I will never forget you." From the heavens, a voice echoed softly, warm and kind. "I am never truly gone. Lily, every time you look at the stars, I will be with you." The gate slowly sealed itself, leaving only a faint shimmering outline across the night sky. It was not closed forever, only waiting, should the world ever need its light again. Lily stood tall, holding the golden thread close to her heart. She was no longer just a girl with a doll. She was the keeper of the sky gate's secret. And as she descended the mountain, the winds whispered her name with reverence. Years passed, and stories spread across villages. They spoke of a brave girl who carried a doll to the top of the world, and opened the sky gate with her pure heart. Children looked up to the stars, and wondered if they too could find a doll with shimmering eyes. Elders whispered prayers of thanks to the girl who saved them from eternal darkness. And Lily, now older, would sometimes smile at the night sky, where the faint glow of the gate lingered, and say, "You opened the sky for all of us, my friend." Thus, the legend of the doll that opened the sky gate was passed down through generations, a story of courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between a child and her mysterious doll. There lived a girl named Lily. She was quiet, curious, and carried a heart that always longed for mysteries beyond the ordinary world. In her hands, she often held a strange old doll, passed down through generations. It had eyes that shimmered like glass under the moonlight, and a smile that seemed to hide a secret. The villagers whispered that this was no ordinary doll. Some said it carried a soul. Others claimed it held a key to a gate that led beyond the skies. But Lily, she was about to find out the truth for herself. Lily's life was simple. Days were filled with helping her grandmother, collecting herbs, and wandering through the meadows. But nights were different. At night, when the stars were brightest, the doll seemed alive. Sometimes its head would tilt ever so slightly, as if listening. Sometimes its fabric hand would feel warmer than usual. And every time Lily closed her eyes, she heard a faint whisper. A whisper that said, "Find the sky gate. Open the pass. Free the light." The words haunted her dreams. One evening, as she sat by the river, the moon reflected in the water brighter than ever before. She looked at her doll and asked softly, "Who are you? Why do I hear your voice in my sleep?" The wind blew suddenly, and in the ripples of the river, Lily thought she saw a door made of stars. But when she blinked, it was gone. The first sign had appeared. One stormy night, the doll's eyes glowed faintly blue. Lily woke up, startled. The voice was louder than ever. "It is time. The sky gate waits." Her room shook as thunder roared. The doll slipped from her hands and rolled toward the old wooden chest in the corner. Inside the chest, buried under blankets, Lily found a map ancient, drawn with symbols of moons, suns, and stars. At the center of the map was a symbol of a shining gate. Her grandmother entered, holding a lantern. She looked pale, almost frightened. "Lily, where did you find that?" "This was in the chest," Lily replied, trembling. Her grandmother's eyes watered. "The doll chose you, my child. Our family has guarded the secret for centuries. The sky gate is real, but it must only be opened by one with a pure heart." Lily held the doll tightly. She felt its heartbeat, yes, a heartbeat thumping against her fingers. The next morning, Lily packed her small bag, bread, water, the doll, and a map. With a determined step, she set out toward the mountains of whispering winds. Where the map pointed, the forest was alive. Birds flew strangely in circles. Trees leaned as if guiding her path. And at night, stars aligned above her like arrows pointing forward. But danger followed too. Shadows crawled at the corners of her vision. Strange whispers in the dark warned her to turn back. One night, by her campfire, a shadowy figure appeared. It had no face, only glowing red eyes. "You cannot reach the gate," it hissed. "The sky must remain locked."